Hello Geometry. Should be Friday that you're watching this. We are going to look at lesson 6.6 where we have figures in the coordinate plane. You'll notice if you look in the book, we're talking about points in the coordinate plane that are very generic. They don't have any specific number value. They're based on variables. You'll see variables here. A, B, A and B. You'll see a lot of the common variables. And what they're saying here, for example, with 2a, is that if this is the x value for a, this is twice that distance from the origin. Okay, so this distance is the same as that distance. Doesn't look like it always, because technically this should line up with this since they have the same x value, but based on the picture they don't quite. So just go with the letters, what's labeled. Again, these drawings are not always to scale. Okay. What we are asked to find here are coordinates of the midpoint and the length of each segment. Also, I'll look at a couple where we need to find the slope. Okay, so to deal with this, we need to remember some equations. We need to remember what the slope looks like, what the midpoint looks like, and what the distance looks like. All right, so you should have those pretty well understood. If not, you can look in your notes and you should see those. So if I start with midpoint, if I'm looking at the midpoint for ME, I'm looking at the point M and E. The coordinates of the midpoint are going to be adding the x values together. Okay, so A and 2A, and I'm going to divide by 2. That's the x coordinate. The y coordinate is I'm going to add the two y values together, 2b and 2b, and I'm going to divide by 2. So for the coordinates, I have a plus 2a gives me 3a over 2. 3 over 2, 3a over 2 is the same as 3 halves a. Okay, 2b plus 2b divided by 2, could that be not to be? Or is it? We get 4b over 2, and 4 over 2 is 2. So we just get 2b. Why does that work? Well, since they're both at the height of 2b, it would make sense that the midpoint, which would be right here on the line, the midpoint would have that same y value of 2b. Okay? Now, next I want to concern myself with the length of this line. So if I look at how long this line is, now that I have the midpoint finished, I can look at the length. Well, distance is equal to the change in x squared. So what is the change in x from here to here? Well, it goes from a to 2a, and the difference there is just a. So my difference in the x direction is a distance of a. So of course I take the square root of a squared plus the change in y. Now looking at this line, there is no change in y, so there's nothing to worry about at the second part of this. And so the distance is the square root of a squared, which is just a. Okay, they're not always going to simplify so nicely. On number 2, I believe the distance on number 2 is equal to the square root of a squared plus 4b squared. Okay, I'll leave that to you to figure out how that's done. All right, that's just one video. You should be able to get through the first 4. Come back for the next video. I'll show you the finding slope and talk a little bit about the last few problems. Good luck.